Hey guys, you know that controlling your mind controls your body, and that's the key for how to initiate and hold a conversation with a woman you're attracted to, no matter how beautiful she might be. Now, many of you know what approach anxiety feels like. Sweaty palms, racing heartbeat, maybe even an upset tummy. No one wants to approach a girl if you're gonna have muchas gassy ass. Thank you very much. And even if you manage to approach her, your body can still sabotage your success, even if you know all the best pickup lines. It all starts in your mind. Your psychology affects your physiology, and vice versa. When you master your mind, these conversational strategies will flow naturally, and talking to beautiful women will be a lot more fun. And you'll avoid making an all too common attraction-killing mistake that too many men make. More on that in a minute. So, how to initiate and hold a conversation with a woman you're attracted to starts with getting past stinking thinking so you can stop simping or not even approaching women. Welcome to Just the Tip. How to initiate and hold a conversation with a woman you're attracted to, of course, is going to start with confidence. That's no big surprise. But what is confidence? Essentially, it's knowing yourself, liking yourself, respecting yourself, and accepting yourself. You know your own good traits and the traits that maybe need a little work and hopefully you're working on. And you also know the traits that maybe aren't the best, but you can't change, so you're accepting of those traits. And for a woman, which she will notice this in a subtle, subconscious way, confidence is knowing that you can handle the outcome of whatever life throws at you. For example, you finally approach a woman who you think was giving you the green light, only to be rejected in a really nasty way. Instead of taking it personally, you think to yourself, man, I dodged a bullet on that one because I am the prize, and that kind of woman doesn't deserve me. And when you have confidence in yourself, it's much easier to approach women and break the ice. Now, you might be surprised to find out that breaking the ice doesn't have to be overly complicated or even overly creative. It's okay to keep it simple. In fact, often it's better. You really don't need witty one-liners or creative conversation openers. Example, and this happened to me. So not only is it a true story, it's a true story that happened to me. So I was in the park. If you read my memoir, you probably already know this story. But anyway, so I was sitting in a park reading a book, and I was like totally engaged in the book. So I wasn't even giving this guy the green light. But he approached me and he just said, "Hey, I'm JP. You look like a nice person. I thought I'd introduce myself." Now, that was just simple. He gave his name. He introduced himself. Now, I will say that it's best to add something like this, and I'll tell you why. So if you add, "I've only got a few minutes because I've got to be somewhere else, but I just really wanted to come over and say hello," or "I just really wanted to come over and talk to you for a minute." What that does is, obviously, she knows you're interested, but it gives her an easy out. She knows she only has to be nice for a few minutes if she doesn't really want to talk to you for longer than that. So there's no pressure on her. Or you could say something like, "I only have a few minutes, but I just wanted to come over and say, you have a really nice smile," or "You have a really nice hair," or "You look really nice." Something sincere, but complimentary, but not over the top, and definitely nothing sexual. And if she has a bad reaction, no big deal. Tell her to have a nice day, and then you just move on. But if she smiles or thanks you and doesn't turn away or doesn't overtly reject you, then that means she is open to having a conversation. And yes, I did have a conversation with JP. You have to read my memoir to find out more about that one. Speaking of, that brings us to number 3, conversation. After introducing yourself and giving her a non-sexual, sincere compliment, you want to avoid an awkward silence by asking a casual question. So the best way to do this is just to pay attention to where you are and what kind of activity you or her or she is engaging in, and make an observational question about it. An observational comment or question. Question is better because then she's going to answer you. Example, Let's say you're in a coffee shop. You can say, I haven't been to this coffee shop before. What's good on the menu? Or is it any good? Or if you do go to the coffee shop regularly, you can say, hey, I come here pretty often and I haven't seen you before. Are you new to the area? Or like JP said to me in the park, you were really into your book and I didn't know if I should come and interrupt you, but you look like a nice person. What are you reading? And then you just want to listen, be curious, pay attention to the details, and definitely don't interrogate or interview her. Try to ask open-ended questions, not just questions that will result in a yes or no. Quick example of that would be, instead of saying, do you like the book? You could say, what do you like about the book? And don't feel like you have to fill all the quiet spaces, the silences. It's only awkward if you make it awkward. You don't have to stare at her. You can be looking around and just engaging in the experience of where you are, because nonstop talking just to fill in those gaps actually feels more awkward than a comfortable silence. And if it's going well, you're going to want to sprinkle in some playful teasing into the conversation. How to increase her attraction by playfully teasing her. More on that in a minute. But first, sharing. Sharing is caring. So you know how I've said many times, Wingmam motto, always leave them wanting more. Well, the key is you have to give them enough to actually want more. So you need to give them a taste, but not the whole cake. And you do this by finding ways to introduce some emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy helps with bonding. It helps her feel comfortable around you and makes you familiar to her, which of course helps with trust. And as I've said many times, women's primary need is to feel safe, physically and emotionally. So how to do this is by talking about your passions and your hobbies without refrain, without holding yourself back because you're self-conscious of those passions or the things that you're excited about. Animation and expression are attractive. See what I just did there? That made you feel a little bit more happy in a way, hopefully. So don't be afraid to express with emotion or with passion or excitement things that you're happy about in life, or that you're excited about doing, or you're passionate about doing. And also throw in a little bit of vulnerability. Wait, what? Women don't want men to be vulnerable. Well, yes, they do, but there's a caveat. Let's start with an example. After you've chatted a while and made her smile or even laugh, then you might say something like, you seem like a pretty great woman, or you seem like a pretty great girl. I bet you're a heartbreaker. Now, this is a very subtle vulnerability, which is good. So you're not saying, you're going to crush my heart and soul and I can't deal with it. No, you are saying you're open to opening your heart, maybe with her, but what is she going to do with it? Key point, being open without being desperate is not weak, it's brave. And key point, the difference between sexy vulnerability and not sexy vulnerability depends on where that vulnerability comes from. Vulnerability rooted in love and compassion is sexy. Vulnerability rooted in weakness, desperation, and neediness is not sexy. Now, if you want me to expand on that topic in another video, write it in the comments below. And if you like this video so far, click like and subscribe. Okay, now, the next tip on how to initiate and hold a conversation with a woman you're attracted to is the one a lot of guys get wrong. 5, make her feel special without simping. That's the key point, without simping. If you do something she knows is especially for her, she'll feel special. Women want to feel special. We want to feel cherished. We want to feel special. But overdoing it makes her feel cringe, like you're trying too hard because you don't feel worthy of her. This is where over-complimenting comes in. So the best way to make her feel special without overdoing it is to limit it to one action. So one sincere compliment that's specific to her, or one specific action, etc. When you do something special specifically for her, or give her a specific compliment that she knows must be specifically for her, like maybe it's about the color of her eyes, or maybe it's about the color of her hair, or maybe it's about a tattoo. Okay, let's skip that one. Okay, anyways, something that she knows it's about her. This is going to make her feel a little bit closer to you. And if you do some of the other flirting suggestions coming up, then it won't feel so unexpected or uncomfortable. So this brings us to getting closer. And then we're going to talk about the number one critical thing you must remember when you meet a woman you're super attracted to. But first, let's look at getting closer. Intimacy requires closeness, both physical and emotional. Now, you've already done a little bit emotional by introducing some passions and vulnerability. So now let's look at the physical part. Now, of course, you're not going to go straight from sharing your vulnerability to making out with her if she's girlfriend material. But getting closer physically is a natural progression from emotional closeness. Again, more on teasing, flirting, and touching in a minute. So by now, you should be looking at her a little longer, holding eye contact for a little longer. And if she reciprocates or doesn't pull away, move in closer. If she doesn't move away or look away for a long time, she might initially because she's flushed with attraction, but if she doesn't move away or she smiles or she maintains eye contact or gets closer to you or touches you, then yes, it's safe to ask for her number because now is the time to leave her wanting more. You can say something like, "Oh man, I'm going to be late. What are you doing to me, woman? Let me get your number and we can continue this another time." Strategies employed, and yeah, you can call them games, whatever. This is psychology. This is the way it works. I know. Master it and you'll feel better about it. Okay, the reason why this works is because you're using the retraction close. These are not official terms. I just made them up. But anyways, retraction close. You are leaving because you've got to be somewhere. Always leave her wanting more. The not really a neg close. She's to blame for making you late because she's so intriguing. She feels special. And the assumptive close, the one I used in real estate sales to be very, very successful. And that is you're not asking, you're assuming. You're not asking for her number or asking her if she wants to get together. You're assuming you're going to get her number and you're assuming you are going to get together. And what does that show? Confidence. That's right. Okay, number 7. And then how to effectively tease, flirt, and touch. Number 7. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. A critical point for a man learning how to initiate and hold a conversation with a woman you're attracted to is to make sure there's true compatibility. I've said it in many other videos. Attraction isn't enough. Connection isn't enough. Chemistry isn't enough. The reason why so many marriages fail is partially because people are getting together with the wrong partner. So just because you can have her doesn't mean you should have her. If you're looking for your forever mate, then you want to make sure you know your deal breakers and your deal makers so you can pay attention to the flags that show up when the things that you don't want are there and the things that you do want are there. Follow your heart. No, wait. Follow your heart, but take your head, this one, with you. The other one is the one leading you down the wrong path oftentimes. Be honest with yourself and with her and always trust your gut, not your nether regions. And to know exactly how to tease, touch, and flirt with her along the way, you'll want to watch my supplementary video on how to tease, touch, and flirt with her. Watch that one now. Thanks for being here. God bless.